Once upon a time, in a little village in Africa, there was a hairdresser named Momaze. She was known all over the village for her amazing braids, twists, and styles. People would come from far and wide to get their hair done by her, as they thought she was very talented. But there was something strange about Momaze. Even though she made everyone's hair look beautiful, she never smiled, and she always seemed grumpy. Some villagers even whispered that Mama Zai was a bit wicked. Mama Zai had a secret that no one knew about. She had learned her hairdressing skills from a strange, magical creature called the Jambalaya. Long ago, the Jambalaya taught her how to make hair grow longer and stronger with just a touch of her comb. But in exchange, the Jambalaya warned her, if you do not treat others with kindness, your magic will one day turn against you. Mama Zai didn't pay much attention to the Jambalaya's warning. She thought to herself, I'll always be the best hairdresser in the village. Who cares if I'm kind or not? She would charge high prices and scold anyone who couldn't pay her. When little children came in, she would complain and snap, saying, sit still. Do you know how lucky you are to have me touch your hair? One sunny day, a little girl named Amora came to Mama Zai's shop with her mother. Amora had thick, curly hair that her mother couldn't manage by herself. She hoped that Mama Zai could help. Amora was shy, and as she walked into the shop, she clung to her mother's skirt. When Mama Zai saw Amora, she frowned and huffed. Ugh! More little children. They never sit still, and they're always noisy, she muttered under her breath. But Amora's mother didn't hear, and she smiled politely. Please, Mama Zai, Amora's mother said kindly, I don't have much money, but I'll pay what I can. Amora has such beautiful hair, and we've heard that you are the best in the village. Mama Zai rolled her eyes, grumbling, sit down, little one. Amora nervously sat in the chair, and Mama Zai began brushing her hair roughly, yanking at the curls and tangles. Ow! Amora winced, but she didn't complain out loud because she didn't want to upset the hairdresser. Mama Zai continued braiding without any kindness, pulling and tugging. She didn't notice that her comb was beginning to glow with a strange, green light, a sign that the magic was warning her. But Mama Zai ignored it and kept walking, thinking only of how she would soon be paid. When she was finally finished, Amora's hair looked beautiful. Mama Zai had braided it perfectly, with little beads that made Amora smile when she looked in the mirror. Oh, Mama Zai! It's lovely, Amora's mother exclaimed. She handed over the little bit of money she had saved. Mama Zai sniffed, snatching the coins. Next time, bring more money. This little bit is hardly enough for all the hard work I've done. Amora and her mother thanked her again and left the shop, still smiling despite Mama Zai's grumpiness. But as they walked away, something strange happened. The next morning, Amora's mother noticed that Amora's hair had started growing incredibly fast. By the time they finished breakfast, Amora's braids were already touching her knees. By lunchtime, they reached her toes. Amora's mother didn't know what to do. She tried cutting the hair, but it grew back as soon as she trimmed it. Oh dear, she sighed. Maybe we should go back to Mama Zai. Perhaps she knows what's happening. So they hurried back to the hairdresser's shop, Amora's long hair trailing behind her like a cape. When they arrived, Mama Zai was shocked. What in the world? She exclaimed. She stared at Amora's hair, which was now so long that it piled up in a big, curly heap around her feet. Please, Mama Zai, Amora's mother pleaded. Can you help us? Amora's hair won't stop growing. Mama Zai didn't want to help, but she saw a chance to make more money. Of course I can help, she said, forcing a smile. But this time, it will cost you double. Amora's mother didn't have that much money, but she didn't know what else to do. She promised to pay Mama Zai whatever she could as long as she helped her daughter. Mama Zai picked up her magical comb and started to walk, but this time, something strange happened. As she combed, Amora's hair grew even faster. It grew so long and thick that it began to wrap around Mama Zai's hands. What's happening? Mama Zai cried, trying to pull her hands free. But the more she combed, the faster the hair grew, tangling around her arms like vines. Amora was frightened, and she started to cry. Mama Zai, stop. You're making it worse. But Mama Zai couldn't stop. The hair had wrapped all around her, binding her hands and feet. In a panic, she dropped the comb, but it was too late. The hair had taken on a life of its own, growing and twisting around her until she couldn't move at all. The villagers gathered outside, drawn by the commotion. They gasped as they saw Mama Zai trapped in a massive cocoon of hair, struggling to free herself. Just then, a mysterious figure appeared, a wise old woman who everyone knew as Grandmother Nia. She had heard about Mama Zai's behavior and had come to see what was happening. "Oh, Mama Zai," Grandmother Nia said softly, shaking her head. "You have been unkind and greedy, using your magic only for yourself. The magic has turned against you, just as the Jambalaya warned." Mama Zai looked at Grandmother Nia, her eyes wide with fear. "Please, Grandmother Nia, help me. I promise to be kind from now on. I'll change, I swear." Grandmother Nia nodded thoughtfully. "Very well, Mama Zai. But remember, you must keep your promise, or the magic will return, and this time, it will never let you go." With that, Grandmother Nia chanted some ancient words, and slowly, the hair loosened, releasing Mama Zai. She stumbled forward, finally free but very shaken. "Thank you, Grandmother Nia," she whispered. She looked around at the villagers, feeling ashamed. She had been mean and greedy, and now she saw how wrong she had been. From that day on, Mama Zai kept her promise. She became a kind and gentle hairdresser, never overcharging and always treating her customers with respect, especially the little children. She even taught others in the village how to style hair so they wouldn't have to depend on her alone. And as for Amora, her hair stopped growing wildly, and it stayed at a lovely length. She would visit Mama Zai from time to time, and every time she did, Mama Zai would greet her with a warm smile. The village never forgot the lesson of the wicked hairdresser and the magic that turned against her. And they all lived happily ever after, knowing that kindness and humility were far more powerful than any magic comb.